432 Washington Street represents a forgotten story in the Columbus, Indiana narrative. The small Midwestern city has long been considered an international center showcasing modern architecture. Ranked sixth in the nation for architectural design by the American Institute of Architects, the city is recognized for its rich cultural heritage rooted in good design. Washington Street, the main artery of downtown Columbus, has remained a quiet but sound component of this heritage, remaining an important place of business and entertainment into the present day. The resistance of the 19th century Victorian buildings along Washington Street to the sprawl that diminished so many of downtowns is largely due to the efforts of Alexander Girard, who cleaned up the facades in the storefront renovation project in the 1960s.
You know, that guy was a lot like Mr. Miller, as I said.
Girard was?
Yeah, they worked the same kind of way.
Girard's vision was to create a prototype for the uncluttered and pedestrian-friendly American downtown, where both the old and new could coexist harmoniously with careful consideration of the greater community. 432 Washington Street is an unsung member in the chorus of Washington Street, Girard's wonderful gift to the public, hidden behind reflective glass that admits none to view the space beyond its true glory. 432 Washington was never meant to be a permanent office for the Cummins Corporation. Rather, it was intended to be a temporary headquarters for the offices during the renovation of nearby 301 Washington.
And so then Cummins needs a new office space, and so they have Girard come in and to rework this entire office space. And so they didn't interview. Mr. Miller just said, Girard, we want you to do this.
He did. He was the one that did the design. He may be working with some other local architect or some other architect to finish the engineering.
To make the drawings and do all this.
Right,
But he would do the creative side and turn it over to a local guy.
However, architects and designers saw the opportunity to create a lasting presence and display of the art in architecture, even in what was intended to be a transitional space. The main space and design intent was introduced to the public street edge as the entryway was set back and the beginning of the spatial volume served as a recessed portico which drew the attention of passers-by.
What was it like when different folks in the community would come in here and see this? Was it interesting? Was it weird? Was it
No, it was interesting.
It was cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
They want to say that because, you know, right away, as I said, it become a stalactite.
So yeah, that's the question. You figure out how to make each of these things, and then the guys come and assemble them, and they wire them, and they install all the other pieces in here, and then this office opens. Do you remember if Girard came back and sort of checked it over?
Oh yes.
Okay.
More than once, okay, because we had three reviews of this, with Mr. Miller.
So Miller and Girard would have personally come and reviewed progress on the project.
Yeah.
And so he would have signed off on the ceiling and all of that. Yes, we like it. That's the way it's supposed to be.
He knew these were stalactites.
Uh-huh.
The grand storefront Girard designed has since undergone many alterations, and in its current state acts as a secured entryway and a walk-through corridor for Cummins Westport employees on their way upstairs to do the work of the company. The stalactites have been physically and visually separated from the public through the introduction of a glass facade on the building's exterior that reflects the viewer's gaze out and away from the space within, and sets the interior further from the street and the public. An access card is required to enter the space, where once there was a human stationed at a custom-tailored Herman Miller-produced welcome desk situated in the interior space to monitor access to the offices beyond. Once inside, Gerard would be disappointed to see the room has lost its sparkle. The original design intent of Gerard, sparkle, as described by Harold Hatter, who worked closely with Gerard and Miller to accomplish the original design, fabrication, and coordination of the elements within the space.
It's like, what was did Gerard talk about what he wanted this to look like?
He was trying to get the sparkly lights, okay?
Okay.
The system to be sparkly. Same as in the offices, had all those bulbs was a
sparkly
thing.
Right, and so he wanted just to like have a kind of sense of brilliance, right?
The sparkle in the space was accomplished by the distributed bank of low wattage lights dangling from the tips of each articulated ceiling node. The lights no longer function, leaving the deep interior space dark and uncomfortable to inhabit, and further, the natural light from the east facing facade penetrates only slightly into the space. When restored, the vestibule and lobby space at 432 Washington Street would present an interesting opportunity for inclusion on the famous architectural tours of Columbus, Indiana. It is one of the lesser-known Alexander Gerard design gems. With improvement and restorations to the interior spaces, Gerard's design could once again contribute to the public sphere, being another source of pride for an already design-proud community. Investment in the restoration and reimagining and reopening of this space will also serve to create a productive workplace at the Cummins Westport offices, as better lighting in the lobby space and increased daily activity within the space will enable concepts such as eyes on the street, mixed primary uses, and social capital, as articulated by the great urban theorist Jane Jacobs in her seminal book, The Death and Life of Great American Cities. Moreover, restoring the lobby to a condition in line with its original design intent will create an atmosphere of inspiration and engagement at the Cummins Westport offices, and in alignment with the historic investment in better design and civic pride cultivated by Cummins Incorporated. The timing of this upgrade for Gerard's work for Cummins Incorporated is significant, as Columbus is poised to be on the radar of the international discipline of architecture in a significant way. An inaugural symposium in the fall of 2016 entitled Foundations and Futures will herald the establishment of Exhibit Columbus and the J. Irwin Miller and Xenia S. Miller Prize Competition in 2017. This major biennial is an exploration of architecture, art, design, and community, with a significant focus on Columbus, Indiana, as a platform for enabling these ideas locally. The initial biennial program will be followed by another symposium and exhibition in 2018 and 2019, creating a new, ambitious cycle of events and a constant presence of Columbus in the architectural discourse. Additionally, Cummins will celebrate a 100-year anniversary in 2019, which will, no doubt, frame the historical significance of the investment of Cummins on the cultural relevance of Columbus, Indiana.